So about a week ago, I started with symptoms of no smell and no taste. And at that time, it wasn't a known symptom. It was because I was online reading about one of the basketball players, and he stated that's how his started out. And it put up a red flag.
So was that the only symptom you experienced?
Beginning, yes. I began to check my temperature, didn't really have a major temperature. The highest at that time was like 99.1. It didn't reach anything over that at that time. But after a few days, then I started to feel the pressure in the chest and the labored breathing. That probably started around Friday, and it continued to get worse over the weekend.
What was the first step you took to?
So after putting all of the symptoms together, because they don't want you to go to any medical facilities, I went to my insurance provider offers Healthy as You, which is Teledoc, which is an online doctor. I started with that first. The initial doctor basically used other symptoms or other health issues because I do have anemia, and she based it on your iron could be low, you may need a blood transfusion, and just kind of swathed me away. She said, go to your nearest ER. But of course, at that time, they're not taking you. You have to call. It has to really be an emergency at this point. So I tried again, and this was on Tuesday with the same teledoc. And I was literally on hold for about 2.5 hours holding the phone until I got on another phone and called the customer service, and they put me through to say, hey, it's a long wait time. There's nothing really that they could do. No one returned the call until Wednesday morning. And when I received that call on Wednesday morning, the doctor was very rude. He ended the call abruptly. He took down the symptoms. I guess I get that they're tired and they probably hear the same symptoms over and over, and everyone is fearful that they have it. But he literally, once again, swapped me away to your nearest emergency room due to the cardiac issues that I was having. So they also instructed me to call. So before I went to the nearest emergency room, I did call the CDC. I was on hold for an hour, and they were not helpful. Unfortunately, the representative who answered the line read me an article that I could have Googled, and she was extremely rude reading it.
Like she was frustrated?
Or lunch break, something. I don't know what her problem was, but I was out. I just got fed up and I said, I'm going to the emergency room.
Okay. Now, what was when you were told, because obviously you had the number for your teledoc, how did you get the number to call for the CDC? Was that something that only doctors have that you're aware of?
So the number is actually, they do flash it on Fox 5 News. Okay. The teledoc doctor gave it to me, as well as I already have the number for the local area due to Fox 5 flashing it.
So you decided to go into the ER?
I did. So, well, not initially. I was being hard-headed still. So I tried to go to urgent care first. Immediately, they told me to go away. They could not do anything for me based on the symptoms. So I was forced to go to the ER. Upon arrival, I actually went to Emory, North Decatur. They were actually very swift. As soon as they have someone at the door who asks why you're visiting, and as soon as they hear your symptoms, they hand you a mask. So they were very proactive. No one was in the waiting area except a security guard, and there were 2 receptionists. They fill out the paperwork for you, basic, simple, short form, and then they check vitals. And at that point, everything seemed normal to them with my vitals. But I had a low grade fever, and they noticed the shortness of breath.
And what was the recommendation once they noticed that?
So and they did chest x-rays, and they did an EKG. Those were all normal. They ruled out that it wasn't pneumonia. That was a concern for them. But unfortunately, they did not have the test. So they could not tell me if I had the virus or not. They can only base an assumption due to my symptoms that that's probably what it was.
And so what was the recommendation since they couldn't test you?
She said, go home. Literally, I'm not kidding, go home. She gave me doctor's excuse for 72 hours. If symptoms persist or continue, to stay at home longer. She offered to write a prescription for cough medicine, and she recommended I take ibuprofen at the time. But if we've noticed, ibuprofen is not good to take at the time.
Did you wind up taking ibuprofen?
I did. My chest was really hurting when I got home, so I did take ibuprofen. I just started doing home remedies. The D3, I believe that did help. Of course, that was recommended by my brother. A warm tea, hot pack on the chest, anything warm was soothing for the chest pain. It started to subside, I'll say, because I went to the emergency room Wednesday, it started to subside on Saturday.
So all told, how long did you have the symptoms for?
My smell is not back 100%, but it's back, I'll say about 85%. So I'll say it's been now about 10 days.
So did you say you lost smell and taste or just
Smell
taste?
and taste.
Okay, so your taste, is that 100% back?
It's still about 85. It's not 100%.
Okay. And so they didn't tell you to isolate for another 14 days. They just told you 3 days.
They said 3 days. That's it. 72 hours. Probably I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, only because I said the symptoms started a week or so before. So they're just trying to calculate to 14 days. That's my assumption.
And you are in a situation where you are going into work?
Yes, I returned to work on yesterday because basically my employer, I had to prove myself. I had to do everything except give the actual doctor the phone to state this is what they're stating. I had to give them discharge papers along with the actual hospital excuse. Even still, when I arrived to work, I did not inform them that I was going to show up. It was basically, you need to come to work. They're not taking any precautions. No one did a deep clean. My office was not sterilized. They are going on as business as usual. They're not practicing the social distancing or anything.
So are you aware of anyone else in the office being sick?
One of their coworkers stated he actually came in contact with someone who tested positive before I got my symptoms, and we came in contact with each other. I believe he quarantined himself. I don't think he actually went to a medical facility. I'll say for about 10 days. But he was at work on Friday. To my knowledge, he was at work on Friday, and he was there yesterday as well.
So I was reading an article about some women who also experienced the loss of smell and taste, and it hasn't been declared as an official symptom, but they are seeing a lot of people experiencing that. They said that they had a craving for chocolate. Did you have?
Yes, yes. And I don't eat chocolate that, not at all. I literally went and bought 3 of the nothing but chocolate cakes. They're in the refrigerator as we speak. Kid you not, you want chocolate. And all yesterday I was saying, oh my God, I just want chocolate. I went through like 5 of the miniature Twix and the almond Snickers.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know. So, so if you were to give someone else who was experiencing symptoms, particularly women, suggestions, what would you suggest to them based on your experience?
Definitely try to drink something warm. It is definitely going to help, and try not to panic because that just adds more anxiety and more labored breathing. Just do some research, but most importantly, stay away. Be cautious. It is serious. A lot of people aren't taking it as serious as they should. I know that a lot of what I was hearing was speaking with doctors is, oh, it's allergy season. But you would know the difference. I do, like I said, I am anemic and I do get shortness of breath, but it's a different type of pain. So just pay attention to the pain and your breathing. But definitely the cough medicine over the counter, it did help. I did take it a little bit. NyQuil, to be exact, is what I took. It's not the tastiest, it's the Z-Cool, but it does give it a sensation and it helps.
And you were talking about research. So were there specific sources that you found most helpful to you in doing research? So that
I did go online and look at the CDC's website, and just basically, I actually watched the news a lot, listening to others and their symptoms and their recommendations. Of course, some people do far-fetched things, but steam helped a lot as well. So I did do a humidifier as well as an air purifier to keep the air circulation clean and pure.
Okay. And then in terms of your contact with other people, did you self-isolate from people in your house as well as, what was your, no?
To be honest, no. I was with my significant other the whole time. He's not taking it as seriously as he should. I did try to isolate, but of course, he needs to be in a bubble already because he's allergic to everything. So he blamed his on allergies.
So did he come down with symptoms?
I felt that they were symptoms. He felt that they were allergies. He had a dry cough. He didn't say anything about chest pain, and he didn't have a fever. So that was the only reason why we ruled out that he may just be having severe allergy symptoms.
Okay. Okay. And he has since recovered?
Yes, besides the sneezing.
The allergy stuff, which, by the way, just as a quick aside, Georgia has had its highest pollen count in Forever. So it is it's a handy excuse.
Yes, it is.
All right, well, thank you for sharing. Is there anything else that you might want to add that might help someone else in a similar situation?
No, I mean, just be protected. The mask is not 100% protection, but if you do feel like you have symptoms, please put one on if it's available to you.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your sharing, and I'm sure everyone else does too.
You're welcome.
All right.